This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 767 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Michelle Bergeron of Right Lead Equestrian Center in Louisiana. Michelle is a graduate of Louisiana's Scholars College, a North American Riding for the Handicapped riding instructor, British Horse Society certified instructor, and certified instructor and judge for the World Side Saddle Federation, and not to mention an all-around amazing horsewoman. This time, we reinvent the manure bucket and extol the virtues of the lowly vacuum. And we'll get right to our tip right after this nutritional minute from Kentucky Performance Products.
This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
Did you know that easy keepers and horses on restricted diets are often at risk for vitamin and mineral deficiencies? Most easy keepers are maintained on hay, and some get a few handfuls of grain a day, and most of these horses get little to no green grass. Diets that don't include significant levels of green grass or recommended amounts of fortified concentrates just don't supply enough vitamins and minerals. Many horse folks don't realize that hay alone, even high-quality green hay, is not an adequate source of many vitamins. For example, when grass is cut and dried for hay, the vitamins quickly lose their potency. 70% of the vitamin E found in grass is lost in the first week after it is cut for hay. One way to ensure that your special needs horse is getting all the vitamins and minerals he needs is to add a vitamin and mineral supplement to his diet. A well-balanced supplement will provide the nutrients your horse requires without adding unwanted calories, starches, and sugars. Microphase, made by Kentucky Performance Products, is a vitamin and trace mineral supplement that bridges the gap in your feeding program. With Microphase, your horse receives adequate and balanced vitamin and mineral nutrition without unwanted calories or other ingredients. The minerals in Microphase have been chelated, a process that protects minerals during digestion and increases their absorption in the intestine. Microphase provides vitamins, such as vitamin E, in a natural form, so your horse receives optimal results from this supplement.
This Nutritional Minute has been brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. You can find all of their terrific products at kppusa.com.
And welcome back, Michelle Bergeron of Right Lead Equestrian Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How are you this afternoon?
I'm very good, Coach Jen. How are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you. I just came back in from feeding Beaker the Ace Trail Pony.
Very good.
And he was happy to see me because it was supper time, but not real happy when I took his fly sheet off because it's warm down here in Florida and we've got flies.
Do you already have mosquitoes?
Oh, we don't have mosquitoes yet, but we've got a lot of flies.
Yuck.
More so than we had in the summer, because in the summertime it was raining so much I think it just drowned them all.
Yeah.
And I took his fly sheet off and it was all full of static electricity.
Woohoo! Yeah.
You're not a happy boy. So
yeah,
we've got some more trading tips for you folks out there. You get to go first, Michelle. What do you got?
Okay. This one I learned when I was a BHS apprentice, and the more I thought about it, I couldn't figure out why I had never come up with this idea all on my own. What we're going to talk about today is a Skep bucket. S-K-E-P. And what you do,
for folks who have the United States Pony Club Manual original version, they'll know what this is.
That's right. That's right. Or the BHS Blue Book.
Yep.
You're going to put this, maybe several of them, wherever you have cross ties in your aisle or by your stall, wherever you groom your horse. And instead of just picking his hooves out into the shavings, into the aisle, leaving a mess, giving you extra work to do later, you're going to take this little bucket, put it under its hoof, clean the hoof out into the bucket, and then when the bucket's full, or at the end of the day, you dump it into the muck bucket. It saves you a lot of time when you're sweeping the aisle, blowing the aisle. You wouldn't think it does, but it really does.
That's one of those things that it figures. Mathematicians would enjoy this because it doesn't seem like much. You clean the horse's feet out, and in many places in the world, as soon as you clean the horse's feet, you need to sweep up or rake up the mess and deposit it in some repository somewhere right away, so you don't draw flies, spread it around, yada, yada, yada. But you think to yourself, well, it takes me, 3 minutes to do that? But how many times a day does it get done?
Well, and multiply it times how many horses are coming through the aisle, and, you and I having the place, who does this fall to?
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to have to do is come behind 15 horses a day.
Yeah.
And sweep up the aisle.
Yeah. Now, I saw this in use at your house when Glenn and I came down a few months back and visited, and we got to go riding together. Mm-hmm. And it never occurred to me because, we always had a muck tub or a wheelbarrow or some containment device in the aisleway of the barn so you didn't have to walk all the way to the muck heap or the manure wagon outside. But it never occurred to me, you use a bucket that's like a 3-gallon bucket with a handle on it, so it fits under the horse's hoof just perfectly.
Well, all these supplement buckets that you get, and you think, this is a nice, sturdy bucket. I'm going to need this for something one day. And you end up with 100 of them that you never use. Well, there you go. Every time you get a new supplement bucket, tote that right out there to the wash rack and throw away the old one because it'll get gross after a while.
It'll get skanky, yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. And it's recycling, it's green, earth-friendly, all those catchphrases that people like to use these days.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. Well, and that's so cool. And it also creates a science experiment if it gets water in it. They're in the wash rack for the tweens that come to the barn who like that sort of thing.
It's true. It's true.
That 9 to 12-year-old boy who gets dragged to the barn because his sister takes riding lessons, just point him to the manure skip.
Exactly. That's an excellent idea that I had not thought of. But it's certainly better than them digging a hole in my parking lot.
Which is their other option.
That's right. Or swinging from the tree.
Ooh, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
And you have a good swinging tree at your barn too.
I do. Yeah. I do.
Okay. Well, mine isn't quite the light bulb that yours was. The shop vac. We're all familiar with the shop vac.
Yeah.
Well, most of us pine for the really fancy horse vacuum, especially during mud season.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That little curry comb that goes on your fancy schmancy $500 horse vacuum also fits on the hose of a shop vac.
Does it?
It does. Any standard tool that is designed for a standard vacuum cleaner fits on a standard shop vac. Yeah. Now, it's a standard shop vac, not that giant-sized one that comes with wheels that has a hose like the one at the car wash.
Yeah.
It's the regular size.
The kind you can carry around.
Yes, the kind you can carry around. We have two, actually. We have the half-gallon size, which is teensy-weensy and just perfect for picking up after the cat. And then we have the bigger one for the horse. So you can vacuum your horse with a shop vac.
Well, let me tell you what I'm going to be doing now, because I have a shop vac, and I did not know that would all fit together.
Now, our shop vac, when you take it apart, because most shop vacs are wet-dry, ours has an added filter for when it's being used dry. It's the regular filter that has that kind of waffly look, but then it has a little cover that goes over top of that so that when it sucks out the dust stays inside.
Oh.
Yes. And my favorite part second favorite part about the shop vac is when you have to wash your horse and he's got a long coat on, you can vacuum the water off of him with your wet dry vac.
I could have used this today.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm going to steal Ricky's shop vac.
In the perfect world, because they're so inexpensive, you have one for wet and one for dry.
Even better.
Because you can get them for about $30. They're really inexpensive.
Oh, wow. This is really good.
This is a good idea because, I would have these wet horses and I couldn't be walking them all, and you can't put them in the stall because then they get laid down and they get cast. And it's just this big mess. Well, I got this idea from the cattle grooming guys at the farm show. You can vacuum off the water with your wet dry vac. And The third thing that your wet dry vac can do for you is turn it around backwards as a blower, and you can blow the eye away.
Oh, I didn't know that. Now I have a blower, but that's a good idea too.
It's not as powerful as a leaf blower. Like I have to blow the, we have a concrete pad where I clip a beaker. If I have to do things with him, I do it there because it's the only place we have that's concrete. Something I need to do not in the turf. So it gets hairy.
So you don't need a big, powerful shop vac because you were using your Skep bucket. So
that's right.
Blowing dust.
The only thing on there is hair and leaves and things like that. And it's actually very effective for the lightweight stuff. As long as all you have is the dust and not chunks of mud out of hooves, it actually worked really well. I was thrilled to death with how that went. It was much better than sweeping.
Cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Multitasker in your barn, eh?
Wow. That's nifty.
I hope all of our listeners are impressed.
I'm sure they will be.
We'll see you next time, Michelle.
Okay, bye.
Well, there you go. To listen to all of Michelle's tips, you can just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the experts drop-down menu on the left. You can also go to her website, rightlead.com, and see what's up over there at Right Lead Equestrian Center. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they make these podcasts possible. Kentucky Performance Products brought us this podcast, and you can find them at kppusa.com. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.